For some answers, David Jatt asked Carla Lane for them.
I saw something in the paper this morning waiting. A bulldog mauled a girl. We don't want that.
No.
But when
we
you
wouldn't
read
like a girl
on...
to maul a bulldog either.
No.
No.
But when you read on, you learn that some boys threw the bulldog into the garden to get a fight together.
Yeah.
Now, the bulldog was put down, but nobody said, what did they do to the bulldog before they put it in the garden?
They take the tail, they wind it up like that,
Yes.
they crank it, they tweak its central nervous system, and it goes like a bloody rocket.
Yes.
And the fact is
But
that...
they put it down,
what would you do, though,
no
to those...
thought.
Of course. Now, they put the dog down. What would you like to see to happen to the people that wound up its tail and fired it off like some elastic-powered
There are
glider?
no words to describe. Prison's not good enough because
No.
prisons become bed and breakfast and telly.
Prison's too good. What about jail?
Perhaps they ought to be...
They should have their coccyx twisted.
Yes.
That would
And now
sort them
people
out.
are going to say... Oh,
Can I
yeah.
just say, this, which has been prepared by the news graphic people, represents what's going on in one way. Is that the sort of thing that you would agree with?
Human version of it. Yes. No, I think so. Because I've been 20 years going to the ministers, and they're finding out what man does.
Yeah.
Not only to calves and sheep,
But
to everything. Frogs' legs they're onto.
weasel fighting in the East End?
Everything.
I mean, pulling live weasels out of the wild and making them fight a man.
Yeah, and you know, they do have endearing, wonderful habits, animals. I had 2 guinea pigs and they were both 11 years old and one died.
Yeah.
And you know, just before it died, it washed its little face.
From what you're saying, have we got it right or wrong so far?
What, people?
People.
Wrong.
We're right
100
here.
million times people wrong.
What chance of getting even here, let alone here?
Oh, dear. Not much.
Here?
Never in my lifetime or yours.
Just watch
How
this
many
then.
thousand years?
We're trying this and there's a tension and it's just going to go back like that.
I think so.
Here's a point. We execute wasps, but we don't execute dogs.
We execute wasps because they sting us, and dogs give us pleasure.
Do wasps really sting us?
Well, they do. I mean, they have stung me, and it seemed like a sting.
Was it actually a sting?
I call it a sting. I mean, I'm a
You see, I've
creature of
never
habit.
been stung by a wasp. I don't necessarily believe we're told they sting.
Well, I have been stung by a wasp, and they do sting.
People say that snakes sting and snakes bite.
I haven't been stung by a snake, I'm glad to say.
Well, that's 'cause they bite.
If I had, I would, or bite.
Now that, weirdly, I believe, and yet I've never been bitten by a snake. Why don't I believe... Why do a lot of people not believe that wasps sting?
Well, come out into our garden in South Bucks and, on a summer's day. I'll find you a wasp, and I think...
Sting me with it.
What?
You'd sting me with a wasp.
This is a conversation...
Yes. Is it because they don't have legs that it makes spherical cows so bad, or is it because that there's some kind of cruelty involved? I mean, what?
Actually, I'm not actually sure what they do to the cows, right?
Well, they breed them in a particular direction, interfere with their genes, so they're just a big ball of meat.
No, well, you see, I wouldn't like to eat that. Definitely, if I knew I was eating that, I would go absolutely mad. It's like somebody putting, I don't know, a bit of snot in a bit of bread and giving it to you. It's the same.
Really, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Somebody's at a restaurant, to give you this scenario, right? Somebody out there, and they get what they think is a piece of spherical cow on their plate. What do?
They just eat it, don't they?
Yeah, but what should they do, for God's sake? Yeah.
Well, I mean, what they should do really is make us think about it. They should start phoning up people and start complaining about, you know, the meat that they're eating.
This came from a spherical cow. How dare you sell this to me?
That's right, of course.
Last year, they stopped penguins catapulting each other through the glass roof at Sydney Zoo. Last month, they stopped a pig throwing itself out of a tree onto a python in a two-way death pact in Chester. Now they want to help Carla, an East German elephant who has got her trunk jammed up her own guts.
I can't understand the mentality or the physical makeup, mental makeup of anybody that lets an elephant get into that condition.
Paul Daniels' contribution moved all who saw it to horrible tears.
Carla the elephant is currently curled up in a kind of a grey ball. Her trunk is actually stuck up her anus and they're not trying to help her. So we must. I'll give you another one that you can cut in later. I'll just say that. Okay. And you can cut it in later. Yeah, go to the elephant, go to somewhere else, all right? And still rolling? Come on, help us get that trunk out.
And so thank Christ for Wolf the Gladiator, who joined not a moment too soon.
Urgent news. Carla has started to ingest her own head. Her dung pump mechanism has blown. There's bloody vegetable gas everywhere. For God's sake, help us pull her trunk out. She needs wolf power, or she will explode in a shower of pulped yams. Please help me and ours get Carla's trunk out the end of her guts.
You've heard a great deal about Carla, the poor little elephant in this East German zoo who's suffering horrendously, horribly. Desmond Morris, the great anthropologist, the author of The Naked Ape, who understands more about animals than probably anybody, has written this little poem about Carla. I'd like to read it to you. Aren't we a bunch of fuckwits? An elephant could no more get its trunk up its ass than we could lick our balls.
Introduction time. Let's talk about cows. This is the grave of a cow. As you will see, it was killed in unnecessary pain by a man. I think we agree with that, don't we, Carla?
I agree, yes.
If we think it's bad in this country, if we think it's bad in Europe, it's worse in Libya. Take a look at this piece of VT. That incident itself that we've just seen there, the Libyan cattle slaughter, right or wrong?
Wrong.
That wrong?
Yes, absolutely wrong.
OK, yeah, you can kill the tape.
Oh, yes, please, kill the tape.
Kill the tape.